The gentleman from Kansas, Mr. Huelskamp.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate your technical language. It was either stupid or dumb regulation. Dumb. And for the record, and if unanimous consent, I'm opposed to dumb regulations as well. But, ma'am, if I might, can you hold up your bottle and the big sheet? And as you understand the regulations, these are coming out, and I didn't catch which agency is requiring this.
This is the GHS regulation out of OSHA.
Okay. OSHA is requiring that. How did they tell you to wrap that around the bottle?
That's an excellent question. There's actually no guidance given from OSHA in regard to applying this label to this bottle.
Okay.
So every single company has had to adopt their own avenue for accomplishing that. Some companies
And
wrap
what would OSHA,
labels.
what would they fine you if you didn't comply with some mysterious regulation? Again, we're not pursuing.
Well, OSHA fines are, I can't answer that question because OSHA fines are typically done on a basis where they do an analysis of each individual time that it happened and how many times you shipped
Yeah, okay.
it.
What's
It'd be a lot of
toxic
money.
in that bottle?
Pardon me?
What's toxic in that bottle?
There's nothing toxic
There's
in this bottle.
nothing toxic in that
No,
bottle.
there's nothing toxic in this bottle.
Okay, I want to clarify that. And I had a letter from a manufacturer, National Association of Manufacturer member I was at least in their community last week, and they had an OSHA inspection. And this is a little sticker on a shift knob on a forklift, and it's a $1.41 sticker, and they received about a $800 fine multiplied by 2. But OSHA had been by the facility numerous times, and they didn't see it missing, I guess, till this time. Before they left the facility, OSHA had actually put the sticker on the gear shift, but that wasn't good enough. And so I would take a little exception with Mr. Goodwin's comment that nobody likes regulatory compliance. From what I understand for OSHA, they love regulatory compliance.
Yes.
And as from what I hear from my manufacturers and the other businesses subjected to this compliance, to quote my manufacturers, I've never been through an inspection when issued citations were directly related to the actual hazards we work with. And the whole issue here is to reduce hazards. For what I hear from OSHA and numerous other agencies, it's not about the hazards, it's about the enforcement.
Yes.
And so you run in these crazy situations where you have the administration, as you indicated, is going after raising our cost of electricity. And the end result is we drive your business offshores. And we drive them to other countries like China that have a much lower standard. And so for example, no new coal-fired power plants, but they're building them up every day in China. The end result is we worry about global pollution, supposedly, but the end result, we make that happen. But I wanted to ask Mr. Goodwin, if I could, an issue is the Waters of the U.S. rule, and I see the Center for Progressive Reform has been strongly in favor of that rule. Is that still your position?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I would say I totally disagree with that position. If you want to create uncertainty in the agriculture industries, small manufacturing industries, construction industry, the industries here, every industry is using some type of water. It's going to be devastating. Not because of the impact, but because we don't know what it is. No one knows. And it might create tremendous jobs in Washington, D.C. and create jobs for think tanks. But at the end of the day, you folks have to comply. Who here, and Mr. Anderson might read the Federal Register. I'm sorry you have to do that. But what about you two ladies? Who regularly reads the Federal Register in your shops?
We can't actually spend the time reading the Federal Register. Our company spends over $750,000 a year belonging to different trade associations. I heard some comments in regard to trade associations shouldn't be able to call on SBA, and I thoroughly disagree with that. Small businesses lack resources. We have to band together in order to be able to afford the cost to analyze all of these bills that are coming out of Washington, D.C. And we have to band together to have the bandwidth, for lack of a better word, to approach Washington, D.C., to try to work with the agencies to create better regulations that aren't too complex, that actually improve safety and health and wellness of the employees that they're working for every day.
Yes, Janice.
We rely on our trade association, the American Foundry Society. We also have an outside safety consultant who is available 24/7. that we can call at any time if any
And
of our
he
plants
certainly,
have a
is he
concern.
paid for by the government, I guess?
I
Of
wish.
course not. Of course not. And that's my concern with, because these regulations, I think Mr. Goodwin even agreed with that, they hit harder on small businesses
Oh
than the
my
big
gosh,
guys.
yes. Yes.
And you'll see many of the larger companies, they actually lobby in favor of these regulations for, because they fear competition from the small businesses.
Interesting.
And I've seen that again and again. So I appreciate your testimony and continue to do that. I would also appreciate you, based on your testimony, you do get harassment back from your regulatory agencies. I'm certain, Chairman, I definitely would like to know about that. I have members, I have constituents that are afraid to tell me and let me make public about outrageous actions by agencies because they fear the harassment and regulatory retaliation. And there is no room for that. So I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.